Guess who's back with another travel packing video. Hello friends, it's Sue and welcome back to the channel. Today I am packing up my massive suitcase to go on a pretty long trip. This is probably one of the longest trips I've had in a long time, and I'm going to be away for a month in Europe, and I thought I'd take you guys along with me with some of my packing tips, traveling alone tips, and just getting ready to go on this solo adventure. By the time that you're watching this, I will actually be in Europe, and that is so exciting to me. I have been loving Europe ever since I was a kid. My parents took me for the first time to Italy when I was like 7, and ever since then I've just been so excited to go back every time. I have been to most places that I want to go, but this year I'll be going to a few more other countries that I haven't been to and more spots that I'm happy to explore. Amongst all of my friends, I would say that I am for sure the person that has traveled the most. I travel about 10 times a year, usually domestically, but once or twice a year I do go out of the country. You can check out some of my other travel videos on my YouTube channel, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see a lot of my travel footage. I just love traveling, and so I thought I would show you guys some of the ways that I pack to make sure that I am bringing everything that I need to bring, but also that I am feeling safe and comfortable and just having the best time. Let's start off with packing tips, because look at this massive suitcase. I mean, it's probably the biggest suitcase you can carry without going over the weight limit, and I will be only bringing this and a backpack. I will not have an extra carry-on, and I will try to fit in a month's worth, and I have quite a few tips about how to get going with packing. Packing can feel overwhelming, especially for a long trip, because you don't know what to expect and you want to bring everything. My initial reaction to packing is to just overpack. Oh, what if I need this? What if I need this? I have to overpack. You might have seen this video that I made where I am talking about how to be a minimalist packer, especially when it comes to your everyday bag, but a lot of those principles can apply to when you are doing your big trip. For me, one of the best things that I've done is purchase a set of packing cubes. You can fit so many more clothes, and you can divide up your clothes based on whether it's the type of clothing, like pants and tops, or you can do packing cubes based on outfits. So weekend outfits, day outfits, or swim outfits, hiking outfits. You can break it up like that. I like packing cubes because it kind of reminds me of how much I am bringing. When you just throw all of your clothes in a massive suitcase like this, you might not recognize that you are overpacking. But when you look at it in packing cubes, you might be able to see that, oh my god, did I bring way more pants than I need? So that's really what I'm looking for in a packing cube. Really, any set will do, especially based on your needs. You should just go on Amazon, look up packing cubes. They're super cheap, and I think they make such a big difference in your luggage. Second packing tip is to remember the things that you like. Now, when it comes to your day-to-day, you know if things are non-negotiable. If you know that you have a heat hairstyling tool that you absolutely must have, then you should pack that with you. Also, I would recommend checking that your Dyson works. I have seen a lot of TikToks where people say their Dyson does not work in Europe, so check on that. But then there are also some other non-negotiables. Like for me, I always pack toothpaste when I go to Korea, because even though I know that there's toothpaste in Korea, I actually prefer American toothpaste. I think it is much mintier. On that note, I also like American tampons more than international tampons, so I pack a lot of those just in case I need them. But when it comes to other things, if it's not a non-negotiable, then you might not have to pack it. Like for me, I will pack a small body lotion, but if I run out, I don't mind going to the pharmacy and just getting any random kind of body lotion to apply on myself, because that doesn't really matter to me. If I run out of eyeliner, I will go to the drugstore. I don't really care. I don't feel as though I need specific towels or bed sheets. That I'm very casual about, so I don't feel as though I need to pack that even on a long trip. The third packing tip is to really focus on your outfits if that's important to you. Like for me, fashion is a big part of my content, so I like to make sure that I am packing outfits that I feel excited about, and also because I like to take pictures and post those and share it with my family, and that's kind of the memories that I have. So the clothing that I wear is really important to me. And so I like to make sure that I am packing outfits for very specific occasions. Like for instance, there's a very specific dress that I would like to wear to dinner, and so I know I'm gonna pack that. But I also like to think about how I can rewear outfits multiple times. For that, I like to try on my outfits before I pack them up. I know that this is really extra for some people, and I have been told in a comment that I'm just doing way too much, but this is what works for me. And I really think it could help a lot of people, especially when it comes to overpacking or underpacking. Just check the weather and try on your outfits, see how you can mix and match things to make sure that they make sense for your vacation, and that way you can bring fewer things. Number 4, Purchases. I love buying souvenirs. It's something that I've always loved. I have trinkets from every single place I've ever visited, and I like to bring back a lot of gifts. So when it comes to a bag like this, you might think I have a ton of space, but once you start packing, you realize, I don't have that much space. So I always like to leave room for the stuff that I'm going to buy. I do this especially when I went to Korea. I actually brought a whole separate suitcase that I fit into this suitcase. I double layered so that I could bring back just an entire suitcase full of stuff. When it came to Korea, it was like for sure things that I knew I could not get here in the States and that I knew I wanted to give away, I wanted to eat, I wanted to use. When it came to Korean skincare, fashion, food, etc., I packed that all in my suitcase. When it comes to this Euro trip, because I will be going bouncing around cities, I don't think I'll be packing as much stuff to buy and bring back to the US, so we'll see. I still want to leave a decent amount of room to make sure that I have space to buy things if I ever do want to get something. Number 5, another tip I like is converters and plugging in. I mentioned earlier about the Dyson hairdryer. I've been seeing it a lot on TikTok and I'm going to bring it up again. Make sure that things work. Like I have this kind of outlet for all of my Mac products. I have an iPhone, I have a watch, I have my laptops, and I know for sure this is not going to work in Europe. I'm going to bring a converter and I'm going to make sure that it's a good one, like a high voltage, so that it doesn't slow down my work. As I get going and start packing, I know for sure I'll have more tips, so follow along for the rest of the video to see how I'm packing. In this next segment, I'm going to talk a little bit about traveling alone and tips that I have for that. I'm going to be frank with you, traveling alone is not for everyone. I used to think that I was a person that needed to travel with friends, but I've come to learn that I actually don't need to. I like traveling alone because that's what works for me. When it comes to traveling alone, you absolutely want to make sure that you are going somewhere safe and that you feel as though traveling alone won't be a hindrance to anything that you're doing. You want to make sure that you're having a good time, so making sure that you don't book things that are meant for families or meant for couples. You want to book things that you are comfortable doing alone. And so that's like my big thing about planning your travel. In addition to that, I do have some tips on like safety. So a good tip that I have is to get as many translating apps and read into a lot of those things before you go. Even before I went to Korea, where I am pretty much fluent in Korean, I still got translating apps because there are still some things that I don't understand, because you might be missing out on some slang, you might be missing out on some things that are like trending. There was a word that I could not figure out for the life of me because I just had no idea what it was. It was just a trending thing at the time and I had not known how to translate that back into my English. So I recommend getting a translating app and look up what kind of apps people are using in that area. So for instance, when I went to Korea, everybody uses Naver there instead of Google. It's basically a search engine and you can do as much stuff on Naver as you can on Google. I will say when it comes to like Google reviews, there aren't that many using Kakao Taxi instead of Uber, since that's not really a thing there. So I would do your research on what kind of apps people are using there and make sure that you download those before you go. Segueing from that, learning your transportation is really important. So when I like to go, I do prefer using public transportation, especially in cities where I know it's good. And so when I went to London, I made sure that I got all those apps and I read up on it. I know that it's very, very different from New York subway, so I wanted to make sure that I was learning all of the proper etiquette about that so that I don't get lost, I don't get duped, I don't get scammed. So making sure you read up on that. There's a lot of YouTube videos, there's a lot of TikToks, there's a lot of blogs out there that talk about how to ride the subway, how to ride the train, and I would recommend brushing up on that just so that you are safe. The next thing that I particularly like to do, this is again not for everyone, but I like to get a Wi-Fi device. So for my cell phone plan, it's not great to be traveling internationally and roaming. It is quite expensive. And then on top of that, I like to use internet on my laptops. And especially for this trip, I will be working while I'm away. So I wanted to get my own Wi-Fi device. So I purchased one and you pay per day. And I have unlimited internet. So I will be able to edit my vlogs, upload them, also do my own work, and look up more research on the countries that I'm going to as necessary. I like having a Wi-Fi device, especially in Europe, if you're bopping around cities. Having your own Wi-Fi device ensures that no matter where you're going in your country, you're paying kind of a flat fee for how much internet that you are using. And especially now, it's kind of non-negotiable to have internet, so I would recommend getting a Wi-Fi device. If for whatever reason you do not have Wi-Fi, it's so scary to be kind of stuck alone. And especially for me, being an introvert, I don't like to ask for help. I actually hate that. So something that I always do is before I go to a new city, I go on Google Maps and I download a offline version of the map. What this means is that Google will store the information on that certain square footage so that you can use and access that map even if you don't have internet. So you won't be able to do things like look at Google reviews, but you will still at the very least know where you are and where you're headed and to see if you're remotely close to it. I highly, highly recommend getting offline maps. This was particularly helpful for me when I was in Iceland. We did have a Wi-Fi device, but there was a place where we were kind of remote on the island where it was hard to get any internet service. But luckily I had an offline map and I was still able to find directions to my hotel. So I highly recommend. And then lastly for this trip, I actually purchased a door lock. I normally don't go through this precaution, but something in me just said, you know what, I should get this. It is supposed to be put on your door so that your door cannot be bust open as easily. This door lock, I think I will feel a lot safer going with this because I will lock my door at night and then I'll put this in just to have that extra precaution and I can go to bed sound asleep knowing that my door cannot be bust open. All right. With that out of the way, let's get to packing. I have a lot to do because I'm actually traveling tomorrow and I just got back from a trip yesterday, so this whole thing is empty and I need to get going with packing. I talk about this all the time, but this Calpac backpack has been my favorite purchase. Actually, I got it as a gift, but I picked it out and I know it's one of the best things I've received in a long time. The thing I like about this is that it has a lot of different pockets for me, and I'm a person who loves pockets. And it has 2 different sleeves for my 2 different computers. I know I'll be able to fit all of the stuff that I need in here, and I really, really like it. Another tip that I have is to pack like an extra change of outfits in here, because you just never know. Like sometimes luggage gets lost, and I don't ever want to be in a situation where I only have the clothes that I'm wearing, so I like to pack an extra pack of outfits in here, and anything that I do not want to lose, it's going in here with me. For sure my passport and my money, and for sure my camera equipment that I would be so upset if I lost, and my computers and my medications, that's all going on the carry-on with me. Everything else, if I don't absolutely need it, or if I would not be devastated if I lost, goes in my big suitcase. So when it comes to bags, I like to travel kind of light with bags. I am pretty much only going to bring 1 or 2 bags. For me though, I do like to carry a little tote. This is the cutest thing I've seen. My sister got it for me the other day. It is a little Target pouch that goes in its own little case like this. So I'm going to be carrying this. I know there'll be days where I am just traveling and I'm purchasing stuff from the grocery store and I can put it in a little pouch like this instead of carrying a massive tote bag. Okay, so I have most of my clothes. So this is like my sleepwear over here. And then we have like my underwear and socks, my swimsuits, and then my jackets. It is supposed to be pretty warm where I'm going, but at the end of my trip, I am going somewhere a little bit colder and I do want to have jackets for that. I have 1 hat. Every trip I go to, I pack more than 1 hat and I never end up wearing it. So just 1 hat. And then I have like my baggy t-shirts here that I just like to throw on if I'm just going to the store. This is 1 outfit. This is another outfit. This is another outfit. And then I have, this is an outfit in itself. This is an outfit in itself because it's a dress. And then I have 2 skirts. I have 2 more t-shirts that are in the laundry that I'm going to pull out, and those make outfits for that. I have a bag like this, and then I have this, which is a really cute little bag. It stretches out. My dad just got it for me, and it's like a tote, and I think it's like a cute color. And then I have some like winter-y wear because, I don't know, I don't want to get cold. So like this is a sweater. This is a cardigan, a button-up shirt that I know for sure I'm going to just like layer on top of any of these outfits. And then this striped cashmere sweater. So this is like the warmest thing I have. And I can layer this on top of any of my skirts, which is fine. And then 3 pairs of jeans. So a light pair, like a medium blue pair, and then a black pair. And so those are for either colder days, but even this light pair I feel comfortable wearing on like the warmer days as well. And then now these are all going into my packing cubes. I am pretty much all ready to go. I have a lot of room in my bag so I can throw on a couple of things, but I don't think I'm going to. I just want to leave it empty so that I can purchase some things there if I want to and just have a lot of space just in case. I always find that I run out of space, so I'd like to underpack a little bit this time. I know I'll be away for a long time, but that's okay. In my backpack here, I have my passport, my wallet. I exchanged some euros so that I could use that while I'm abroad. And then just the essentials like some tissues, some meds, some skincare for the flight, and then anything that I need for the flight like my eye mask, earplugs, a sweater in case I get cold, big headphones. So I like to wear these headphones. I have AirPod Maxes, but I don't like those because they're just a little bit too heavy to wear for more than an hour. And then on top of that, these have a little hole so that I can plug it into the flight in case there's like in-flight entertainment. So my AirPod Maxes don't connect to that, so I like to carry these. And then I also wear earplugs and an eye mask, if I can find that, yes. I just got this eye mask and it came with earplugs that I wear on the flight. And then these are really heavy duty. You can see that it is like cushioned in the front, and then also it has like a nose section so that it's completely blackout. I look a little bit scary when I wear both of these together, but it helps to make sure that I get really good sleep, especially because when you're going on like a long flight, you want to make sure you get good rest. So being as comfortable as I can. I did upgrade to a emergency exit row seat, so I get a little bit more room. I have never really been the type to upgrade to like a business class or like first class. That's just not in my budget right now, but in the future, I'd like to be in that area. Hopefully one day. I am in the more of a budget airlines type of girl, so that's where I'll be. I'm all done packing. I'm gonna try to go to the airport about an hour and a half to 2 hours early because the particular airport that I go to tends to get backed up, and when I go on international flights, then sometimes they don't allow for TSA pre-check, so I can get stuck on that line for a very long time. I'm off and I'm headed to my flight.